Imagine this, it's 1987. The fairy tale marriage of Prince Charles and Princess Diana is cracking under the weight of betrayal. Diana, the people's princess, isn't just heartbroken, she's furious. She storms into a high society party, her eyes locked on the woman who's been poisoning her paradise, Camilla Parker Bowles. No polite chit-chat. No royal restraint. Diana accuses her outright. "You're having an affair with my husband." The room freezes. Gasps echo. And Camilla? She doesn't deny it. She doesn't slink away in shame. Instead, she delivers a response so bizarre, so coldly dismissive, that even the bodyguard who witnessed it all, Ken Worf, Diana's trusted protector, is left scratching his head nearly 40 years later. What on earth did she mean by that? He wonders in his explosive new revelations. Today, as Queen Camilla sits smugly on her throne of denial, Worf's silent-shattering account has her in total panic. Why? Because it rips the band-aid off the ugly truth. Camilla wasn't just the other woman. She was the architect of destruction, the homewrecker who clawed her way to the crown while Diana's world crumbled. We'll expose how Camilla's words that night weren't a slip, they were a manifesto of manipulation. We'll challenge the saintly image the palace has peddled for her, backed by Worf's first-hand testimony. And we'll ask the question that's got Camilla tossing in her silk sheets. If she was so innocent, why does her response still baffle the man who saw it all? Let's rewind to the rotten core of this scandal. By 1987, Charles and Diana's union was less happily ever after and more tragically than ever. The public adored Diana. Her warmth, her vulnerability, her unfiltered humanity. Camilla? She was the shadow in the corner, the fox in the henhouse, whispering sweet nothings to a prince who never deserved the princess he got. Worf, who protected Diana from 1987 to 1996, paints a vivid picture in his tell-all. This wasn't some harmless crush. Camilla had sunk her claws into Charles since their university days in the 70s, before Diana even entered the picture. Remember those infamous tampon tapes from 1989? Yeah, those weren't pillow talk. They were proof of a long-brewing obsession. But Worf's bombshell takes us back further. To that fateful night in 1987, when Diana decided she wasn't going to play the fool anymore. Picture the scene, a swanky London bash, dripping with champagne and hypocrisy. Diana, radiant yet raging, corners Camilla. No intermediaries. No protocol. Just raw, royal reckoning. "I know what's going on between you and Charles," Diana reportedly thundered, her voice cutting through the crystal clinks like a knife. The accusation hung in the air, undeniable. Backed by the whispers, the late-night calls, the coincidental overlaps in their schedules that Worf had clocked for months, and Camilla's reply? Not a denial. Not an apology. Something far more sinister. We'll get to the exact words in a sec, but first, understand this. This confrontation wasn't isolated. It was the boiling point of years of gaslighting. Camilla didn't just flirt, she orchestrated. Worf confirms Diana's diaries detailed endless humiliations, finding love letters from C in Charles's pockets, enduring cold shoulders at family gatherings where Camilla lurked like a ghost. Evidence? Diana's own brother, Charles Spencer, has echoed these torments in interviews, calling the marriage a torture fueled by Camilla's interference. Camilla's public persona today? The steady hand, the loyal consort who healed the family. Please. That's palace PR at its oiliest. Worf's account shreds it, showing a woman who thrived on the wreckage she caused. Now, the meat of the matter. What did Camilla say? According to Worf, who was inches away, shielding Diana from the fallout, Camilla didn't flinch. She fixed Diana with a stare, cool, calculating, and uttered words that still echo like a riddle wrapped in venom. "Diana, none of this need have happened if you hadn't married Charles." Stop. Let that sink in. Not "I'm sorry." Not "it's not what you think." But a brazen pivot, blaming Diana for the affair. As if slipping into a married man's bed was somehow the princess's fault for saying "I do." Worf, a no-nonsense ex-Met copper with decades in protection, calls it baffling to this day. In interviews promoting his book, he admits, "I couldn't make head or tail of it. It was like she was rewriting history right there, absolving herself while twisting the knife." Why does it confuse him 40 years on? Because it's a masterclass in deflection, the kind of psychological judo that gaslighters dream of. Camilla wasn't just responding, she was reauthoring the narrative. "If you hadn't married him" implies Diana was the interloper in her love story with Charles. Never mind that Camilla was engaged to someone else when she first dated Charles. Never mind the vows exchanged in St. Paul's Cathedral, witnessed by the world. This was entitlement on steroids. Camilla positioning herself as the wronged party, the eternal flame snuffed out by a younger, prettier rival. Evidence of this mindset? Look at the broader pattern. Post-confrontation, the affair didn't fizzle, it flared. Worf details how Camilla hosted intimate dinners that Charles attended religiously, even as Diana begged for reconciliation. The 1994 Jonathan Dimbleby interview? Charles's half-admission of infidelity was no accident. It was Camilla's green light, her way of normalizing the betrayal. And let's not forget the leaked phone calls, where Camilla coos about being Charles's soulmate while Diana wept alone. This wasn't love, it was conquest. Camilla's words that night expose a woman allergic to accountability, one who'd rather shatter a marriage than step aside. Her public image as the forgiving queen who rose above the drama? It's a farce. Worf's witness account proves she dove headfirst into the mud, dragging the monarchy with her, but the damage didn't stop at Diana's doorstep. Worf's revelations spotlight how Camilla's meddling metastasized, tainting the monarchy for decades. Diana's marriage imploded publicly in the 90s, think Panorama interview, where she laid bare the emotional abuse, much of it Camilla fueled. The fallout? A nation divided, tabloids feasting, and trust in the royals plummeting. Polls from the era show approval for Charles dipping below 50%, with Camilla as public enemy number one. Fast forward. Camilla's redemption arc is built on selective amnesia. She waltzes into queen status in 2023, hailed as the glue holding the family together. Yet Worf begs to differ. He recounts Diana's paranoia post-1987, how the confrontation amplified her bulimia and isolation, issues Diana herself linked directly to the affair in therapy sessions leaked via palace moles. Evidence abounds. Andrew Morton's 1992 book Diana, her true story, corroborated by Diana's tapes, names Camilla over 30 times as the chief destroyer. So, here we are, 40 years after that explosive encounter, and Queen Camilla's perfect facade is fracturing under Ken Worf's unyielding truth. Her baffling barb to Diana wasn't a gaffe, it was a declaration of war, one that demolished a marriage, scarred a princess, and scarred the soul of the monarchy. We've dissected the setup, a calculated affair that preyed on vulnerability. The showdown, words that deflected blame with chilling precision. The legacy, a tainted institution still reeling from the deceit. Camilla's public persona, the dutiful queen, the survivor, crumbles under scrutiny. She's no healer, she's the wound. The question lingers. Why does Worf still puzzle over her response? Because it reveals a woman unbound by remorse, one whose ambition excused every ethical breach. As Diana once said, there were 3 of us in this marriage. And Camilla? She made sure it was a crowd she dominated. Royal fans, it's time to demand better. No more polishing tarnished crowns. Share this video if you're done with the spin. Let's amplify Worf's voice until the palace echoes with accountability. Drop in the comments. Was Camilla the real wrecker? Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more myth-busting royal exposés. This is UK Royal Report, signing off. Remember, in the Game of Thrones, truth is the sharpest sword. See you next time.